All right. Right.
What up? What up? What up?
Nothing much. Waited for you
Dude,
since last night.
dude, I'm so full, man.
You're
Stuff.
so full.
It's like, it's like you're full. Like you're like you lie down for a second. You're like you wake up and it's like 2 a.m. and like you don't know if it's like is it still 8 p.m. or is it like 5 a.m. What's going on? It's actually between those time zones. But I'm so full. We went out. We intended to eat at this place, and we were planning it all along because the wifey's like, oh, there's this new place, supposedly good food, whatnot. Place was called Rubata. Is that the name? Right? Rubata. Rubata, whatever that stands for, if it's Japanese or if it's I don't know what it is. And and then when we got there, dude, a freaking line outside. Like I'm talking about like people dressed up and lining up and shit, and I'm like, damn, where are we? Is it still Davao? I mean, we're not used to that. And I told my wife, this is something we're not used to. So I like, okay, let's we're not gonna get in line. Obviously, we're with the kids. So we looked for the spillover spot. Those restaurants that end up getting patrons because they couldn't get in the other one. So they ended up like, okay, let's just eat here. So like the settle down spot. And even that
Wow.
restaurant, yeah, even that restaurant was like people were still on a waiting thing. So I'm like,
It is actually Japanese, but
it's
I've
Japanese?
never heard
Yeah,
of that word. Well, it is a Japanese restaurant, but
yeah, that's what it is. That's where we were.
I've never heard
It,
of that word.
it just
We don't even
opened.
have we don't even have that word
What does
when we
it
speak
mean?
this robata. I mean, there's no robata.
Unless it's a place.
I have no idea, but robata. Wow.
Is it? Oh,
It's not
hold on.
even a name. It's not even like a Japanese name, like Sato or Kawasaki or Suzuki. I mean, it's just robata. I've never heard of that like word being used in Japanese. It could be like I don't know. Somebody came up with it.
Yeah, it's Yes. So anyway, yeah, we were
Is it at
there.
Azuela Cove? Is it at
It's
Azuela
at
Cove?
Azuela, yeah, Azuela. That's where we were. It just opened maybe like a week ago. I don't. And it didn't just open like yesterday or something. It opened like it's been a while. So we were, oh, it just opened.
Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. So yeah, it's been days. It's not like it just opened. But it's, it's my date.
Hey, you,
her
you went on
her
a
brilliant
date.
her brilliant idea. Yeah, it ends up not being a date because we're with the two little monsters. Ruins everything. Not ruin, but I mean it just like transforms it into. It's supposed to be about us, but it becomes about them. You know, that's what happens with kids, man. You have kids, you think before it was all about us, and then it becomes about them. Before you just argued about each other, now you argue about them. But yeah, so anyway, we ended up at this Japanese place, and since we were a little hungrier than usual because we did the groceries before having dinner, because my wife's like, let's let this subside first because everybody's freaking lining up and all hungry and shit. So let's do the groceries first, and then after, maybe we'll be able to get a table. So it worked. We only waited for like several minutes, a few more minutes, and we got our table at this Japanese restaurant where we settled at. So I overcompensated, since we didn't get to eat at the time we wanted to eat at the place we wanted to eat. I'm like, okay, just like let's order this, let's order that, let's order this, and I ended up eating Raj's food because he ate too much of the appetizer, and he couldn't finish his food, so I ate my food, I ate Raj's food, ate some of the. I'm so full. So and when you're full,
Like, what'd you have?
tempura. We had katsudon. We had this wrap of kani and no, it's like a kani and cheese tempura, which was really really good. That's the one that Jago had. We had yakisoba. Dude, I don't know if I had anything else. I'll just check. Okay, can I have coffee, ma? Please. That's the thing, having a beautiful wife who is ready to make coffee for her sleepy husband. So we got to do the show. All right. So what are we doing? Good, bad, and the ugly of what? Of being full. to
good, the bad, the ugly of having kids. So that's probably
okay.
what it is. Because you were initially thinking about a date, but then
Oh man, that's a
it's
good
tagging
one.
along.
Yeah, talk about the kids.
That's not a date anymore. That's why I
Yeah, well,
gave up on it a long time ago. But the wife wants to do that, but I'm like, no way we could do that because once we're already outside, even if we leave her with her in-law, like with my in-laws, it would still be the same. Because by the time we get there, she'd be like, "Oh, maybe is she okay? You think she's fine?" I'm like,
yeah,
see, so
exactly.
let's
That's how we
bring
were.
her
Yeah,
along. Let's just
yeah,
bring her along then.
yeah,
But she would like fantasize about, oh, let's go out. I know it's healthy, it's good, but it's still the same. If you can separate yourself and like not worry about your kid, if you get like,
yeah,
I mean, you don't have to worry, of course. I mean, you're leaving them with grandparents and whatnot. But the thing is, you're so used to them that sometimes you think that you need some time off from them, and once
yeah.
you get that time off, you realize that, oh, you miss your
You
kids.
miss your kids. Yes, yes,
Right? Like, oh, I need this
absolutely.
time off. Then, like driving about 30, 40 minutes and you're like, oh, I'm a terrible dad or I'm a terrible mom. Why did I leave her there? I mean, we should have, like, brought her along. I mean, she loves, you would remember the things that she loves in this place and whatever, right? So
Yeah.
still, I mean, it will not be successful. Hey, Rye, I think I saw your video. I think Bam, like, took a video of him. I think that was him. I think that was
Yeah,
Rye.
yeah, saying, "Oh yeah, happy birthday to Bella! Happy birthday, Bella!"
Right. Was she there earlier? Because I think the video was today.
Uh, I think no, it was your brother. It was Don who picked up the cake and then brought along the goodie bags for Raj and Diego. So thank you for the goodie bags. Actually, it was me who ate most of them, but most of the stuff in the goodie bag.
So I thought I
Don't
think
like
this is
that.
Rye.
Yeah, that was right. That was Diego. That was Diego.
Okay. So I saw the video because he sent it at our
Group?
our chat group, like,
Family group?
family chat group. Right. So I think this is right. Hey, Rye, I saw you.
This is the camera that's thing.
I know, right? There was this strange man who went to your house. Holy crap! I know how you feel. I hate him. When I see him, I'm like, my blood boils. My blood pressure rises every time I see this guy. I mean, I understand how you felt. So, right, I hope you're okay. Did you enjoy the goodies?
Did you? Did you enjoy the food?
Yeah.
Did you eat the?
Yeah.
Say happy birthday, Ate Bella.
Happy birthday, Adabella.
I know. I think they did something today. I just don't know what and where. So,
Okay, go go. You watch.
happy
You watch.
birthday, Bells.
Say bye, Tito Ice.
Out down the
Bye,
camera
Rye.
isn't steam that the camera that's fog.
You saw the
Okay.
frog? The prince turned into a frog or the frog turned into a prince? Which one is it?
You did later.
There you go. Yeah, that doesn't look like a prince at all. That's a freaking.
Scary kid.
Maybe it's a frog. All right.
Like out the lizard and like that.
Dude, this freaking lizard frog thing, you made it sweet as well, dude. He was bringing this along with him. I mean,
That's
Right?
it.
Is he playing with it?
he plays with it. Oh, jeez. He put it on his mom's kitchen. His mom nearly had a heart attack. This crazy kid.
Yeah, we used to do that with our mom. Like you would.
Okay, go. Go after the
you
show.
get that,
You go
like,
down. You watch
lizard,
your
like,
phone.
that rubber, whatever you call it, like a figure. Like a
Yeah. You go down. You have to watch your. You have to watch your
You would
show.
put it in the
Yeah.
fridge, and your mom.
Oh, don't cry. Or you're going upstairs. Don't cry. You're going upstairs. Let Papa do his show first, okay? Okay, so there you go. Here we go
Alright,
again.
We're not gonna stay long, Ryan. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll seal
The-
you down for about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Sunday. You have work tomorrow. So all right. Good
Yeah,
evening,
yeah.
Patrick. Pat, we gotta get the show rolling, man. Cause yeah. So we're
we
talking
were
about the
just
good, the bad, and the
about-
ugly.
Right, and we were talking about Rod and Bags initially planning to go out and have a date night, but they ended up bringing the kids along. So yeah, we're kind of like sticking with that tonight. So it's hard. So Patrick, you don't have a kid yet, and I always warn people, and people get the wrong impression that I am so unhappy with my situation in life, but no, it's not. It's just a warning. I'm playing the devil's advocate when it comes to having kids or having a family because it's not an easy thing to do, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
the hardest thing in life. I remember
absolutely.
having a chat with Pinky, and she was so worried about like bringing a kid or a child into this world because it's not just providing their material needs, but it's more of you have to raise them too. You have to teach them good manners,
Every
and I
minute,
think she,
every second of their
right,
life, dude, depends on you for like a certain
exactly,
period of
exactly.
time.
So I think
Um,
I'm with Pinky, in this sort of
me
like
too.
thinking,
Me
because
too.
at that time when we were talking, I didn't have a kid. So when I found out that my wife was pregnant, I was just shocked, and I was in shock for a few months, and it took a while before I actually accepted that I'm gonna have a child. And when my daughter was born, I just went autopilot, and it's perfectly okay. I mean, you would learn how to do things. I
Yeah,
mean, we adapt, we adjust, and if you're if you're if you're a nice person, if you're a normal person, you would truly do the right thing as a parent,
yeah,
right? So, but that's the thing. If you can't avoid it, I would advise that you avoid it because it's not a joke.
absolutely agree.
Certainly, it's not a joke.
Absolutely agree. I mean, I remember the radio station. Uh, we weren't the only ones not having kids yet. I think the only ones who had kids at the time was probably the manager and Billy Kane didn't even have a kid yet. It was the manager and probably the technicians and Joe, obviously,
Hmm.
But hey, no more. But yeah. But anyways, it's like I remember you would always talk about that and like even I think Mao. I don't know if Mao already had a kid, but we talk about that and be like, oh, and I remember manager would always say like, why you were always like against having kids and stuff because I was like, I wasn't. I don't know if I was married already, but and I was like, yeah, I was on the same boat. I mean, I could totally understand how that could turn your life upside down, how it could totally just change your priorities. Whether, see, the thing is, when you don't have kids, you still have that option. It's not a guarantee that you're gonna have kids. I mean, you don't know, if your wife's gonna be fertile, or if you guys can have kids, or if you're whatever. It's not a guarantee 100%, but you still have that option to like go back to where you are, or not even progress to that stage in your life. But when you're ready to have kids and you're ready to have a kid, that's it, man. You gotta face the music whether you like it or not. It's like walking inside a store and you have to buy stuff there, even if there's nothing there that you want to buy, because you don't know how you'll respond to parenthood. Some people they're made for that. People like Pinky, people like Ice, people like myself. We're not necessarily we don't have that DNA makeup of being natural as a parent. There are people who are just natural at nurturing and caring for people and serving people. Whether they're a parent or not, you can already see that, okay, this person will probably be an okay parent because it comes naturally for them. It doesn't come naturally for me to be looking after an infant. It doesn't come naturally for me to be caring for. The only time I had to do that was with my grandmother, and she was bedridden. But that's an adult, like at the end of the day, anything happens to her, it's not going to be entirely my fault, you know. Her children, my mom and my aunt, will still have liability. It's not entirely my responsibility. But when it's your kid, not only are you emotionally responsible, you're also legally responsible. You're also socially responsible for how this creation will turn up to be. Not even including your personal fears, right? And what are your okay? Let me ask you, Ice. What are your biggest fears about being a parent? Now that you are a parent, I mean, I'm sure we had our own fears when we were before we became parents, but now that we are, what's your biggest fear? I mean, what's the
I mean,
what's the
I don't know where
scariest
to start.
scenario? Oh,
I don't know
jeez.
where to start.
Because
I don't
I
know
was
where
the
to start.
praning, because I'm the praning dad. You're not necessarily praning, right? You're kind
No,
of like,
okay.
that's
I
okay.
don't think about it. Like the thing that I worried the most was when I had my anxiety, like a couple years ago, and I
Yeah,
started like, well, I might hurt my kid or whatever,
the
like
intrusive thoughts,
physically.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, but that was it. But right before that, it was just like I kind of like approach it the way I approach life, take it one day at a time,
Okay.
and that's how I did it, right? So, but then I don't know, maybe for some reason, the pandemic hit, and I'm in Japan, and I mean it. I mean so many factors. I would say.
Yeah.
So that got to me, and I had that, like, I had that phase, and it's a good thing that I started reading up on intrusive thoughts, and all these things, and I could handle it, like, even
Yeah.
without medication and whatnot. And the only therapy that I get is like talking to people and talking to family and talking to you,
Yeah.
and things getting back to normal.
Yeah.
That it helped me a lot. But still, from time to time, I would have a bit of like, it's a mix of so many things. And from my mom's point of view, it's more of it's maybe that's just one side of it. But my
Yeah.
mom kind of like thought that, oh, because I grew up in a family where we had a roller coaster life, like ups and downs, ups and downs. So maybe my mom was she said that maybe because things here kind of gets, like, constant and
Yeah. Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I get it. I get
that
it.
that kind of like affected me in a way,
That
because
stability is not normal for you.
it's not, no, yes,
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
she said, because I was
Yes,
so
she's right.
used to, like,
I think
something's going wrong at some,
that's a good
it's like
perspective.
it's like, that's what she said, because I'm always like, oh, if it's not the water, it's the electricity. If it's not, like, like the food, then, I mean, I was
It's your
constantly
brother.
like that. Yeah, right. So I was usually always on guard, and always trying to be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead,
Yes.
even with
Yes.
jobs and whatnot. Like,
Yes.
if you can notice, back then I would take on jobs and whatever. Like,
Yes.
I don't
You
care.
would. Yeah. I was
Like, yeah, I
amazed.
would
I didn't
take,
even know.
yeah,
Like I wouldn't know.
I would take SM. I would take Victoria Plaza. I would take all the whatever gigs that I can get. If I can squeeze it in one day, I would. I wouldn't say no to any gig, and it's because, like, oh well, you never know when's the next paycheck coming in. I mean, we have a steady paycheck at Killer B, but that wasn't, I mean, you can't depend on that. You need more. So
Especially
I
with
have
your
my day job.
responsibility as
Yes,
the
with my
next man of the house.
responsibility. And at that time, I didn't have my wife. I was alone. So it's and my mom and my dad, they didn't have anything at that time. So it was just purely me. So I was always trying to be 4 or 5 steps ahead every time. And then now that I'm here, I'm looking for things to worry about, because I don't worry about anything anymore. It's more of like the basic, the most basic things that people worry about, like the needs that you have. I mean, back then it's like, gas, car parts, my sister's whatever that she needs in school, groceries, electric bills, cable bills, water bills. Um, you know, somebody might get sick or something,
Yeah.
and like problems at work. Um, Friends having problems and whatnot, and you're trying to solve it. It's more of
Something's always going on, right?
yes, something's always good. There's always drama. Like I said, the Philippines is full of drama. Like it's, and I got so used to it that when I moved here, there's
Oh,
like
geez,
no
yeah.
drama, zero drama. Like everybody's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, fine, whatever. And it's like, so I kind of like that messed up with my head. So I
You,
started to like,
dude. You know what happened? Why you have intrusive thoughts? Why you ended up with, well, besides maybe parenting is a new experience for you. You finally had time to sort of like think about stuff that you never even entertained or entered your head
exactly.
because you were
I
too
was so busy
preoccupied with
thinking
things.
about,
Yes.
like,
So now
I
you're
was
like you're bored. Like you're bored. Like, oh shit. Oh, now you're like
exactly,
you're
exactly.
right. You
That's what
started
my mom
creating
was
your
saying.
own drama. You started creating your own drama. Actually, that's
Because
what
I got
happened.
so used to, like, I need to worry
Tita
about
was right.
something. Like, so like the smallest thing I would worry about. Like there are times like I would be like, did I shut the fridge? Holy shit. I mean, like it's like I would ruminate on that and shit like that. If it's all okay, like I think I shut everything off, and I think
We don't
I
even
think
worry
everything's
about that shit before, right?
then yeah, I never do. Then next thing you know, I started worrying about like, what if I grab this lady's butt all of a sudden? Like, holy crap, I'm gonna go to jail or whatever. I'm gonna lose my job. What if I slap this kid in school or something? Like, I mean, and then you try to like, holy shit. So it's because, yeah, plus my job too. It's like not so much responsibility. You just like go in there and support
And
the actual
you
teacher.
don't really talk to your coworkers and like discuss their
No, I
life
don't. I
situations and
don't. I
or
don't.
have somebody borrow 100 from you, pamlete pauli and
No.
stuff like that. Like
Yeah. If I have that, then I would worry about that. Like, oh fuck. I mean, someone's borrowing me 100. Like, I mean, back
that's
then,
my last
like,
100.
dude, you have 100. Like, someone's like, all right, fine. Like, then I'm like, all right, okay, I have 100, and I would think about that for hours. Like, when is he gonna pay me? Is he gonna pay me like tomorrow? Like, so I have that thing. Right?
You can't
I wouldn't
sleep.
worry about other things. Yeah, but I don't show it, but it's there. It's like maybe he's gonna pay me next week.
Dude, 100 is 100, man.
100 is
Dude,
100. It's not much,
okay.
but it's 100. I need.
What was the least amount of money in your wallet that you came to work with?
Dude,
You actually
100, like.
Oh, at least I think there was one time I had 20 pesos. I mean, that wasn't my only money, but that was the least amount of money I had. Like maybe I forgot.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it could be around that 20 or even less.
So-
I don't remember. See, if you have that, if you're in that situation, if you have like, oh, I only have 20 pesos in my wallet, dude, that would be like, why would I worry about like I might stab somebody?
I know,
No.
I know exactly,
Fish to
exactly,
fry.
exactly.
Can I eat? Like, what if my sister goes hungry? Can I provide that? Like, no,
Like,
so it's,
but okay. Think about all these like wealthy countries, like Korea and stuff like that. Nobody ever like commits suicide because they're hungry, or because you know what I'm saying. No, it's a different issue. It's always like because like what. And I remember having this talk, and I remember you telling me about the difference of watching it in a movie theater and watching a movie like at home. Because you said if you watch it at home, you have time to sort of like absorb everything about the movie and think about it. Unlike if you watch it at a movie theater, there are other people there. After watching the movie, you do other things, you see other things, so it doesn't linger as much. But let's say you watch like a freaking disturbing film, and you're in your living room and you're watching it on Netflix, and right after you're like, oh shit, right? That's what you told me. Yeah, it's gonna like yes. So it's the same thing. It's like the movie theater is the Philippines. Your living room is Japan. It's like in a movie theater. It's like here. If you have like an issue and you go out there and you share it with somebody, you'll know that they also have something to share with you. And like you said, it's probably gonna be worse than your situation, and they're okay with it. So what the f? Why am I having a cow with this? Like, I mean, this guy.
I think that's
right?
basically it. Like there's always somebody that you actually communicate with, like in person, and you actually realize that, oh, okay, it's a thing. Like everybody goes through whatever. Like for example, yeah, like what you were saying, if you watch it in a cinema or a movie theater, then there's a lot going on. Like even when you're just like sitting down, somebody like bumps into you, automatically you reach for your pocket and like, is my wallet still there? Is my phone still there? Like you think about these things. Something moves behind you. You're like, is somebody trying to get my stuff or whatever? So you're constantly on guard. Then when you're exiting the cinema, you're like you're looking around. Maybe you see somebody, or you're looking around if there's a pretty face somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's just like so many
yeah,
things in your head.
yeah. The
right?
movie was just a part. You realize that it's just a movie.
Yeah.
But when you're at home, right?
Reality, yeah. But if you're at home, you're watching it, you'd be like, are these things happening? Is this real?
But
I'm like, holy shit, I might do the same thing. Something like that.
that shit, dude. I go through that shit, like that. Those intrusive thoughts and stuff, like. But that ended the first time I had my boxing match with Raj. I mean, I guess I mean, you're gonna smack your kid, man. Come on, it's like you're gonna do it, and especially if you have,
That's true. That's true. Like even
especially
that,
when you have
like,
a son. But just don't kill him. You know what I'm saying?
that's so true. Like I had like a couple years ago, right? So I was like so scared and I was like shaking, and I always so scared of being near her and whatnot. But now like there are even times like I try to watch myself not to be like mad at her or whatever. But then there are times that when I try like like when I get mad at her, when I don't lose it, but like
Almost.
you lose your patience and you're like, holy crap, you snap at her, like you say
Yeah.
something, actually it makes you feel better. All right, so that means you can get mad at your kid, but you know that
It's up
it
just
ends
that.
there.
That's the
Yeah,
extent.
that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not.
instead of
Dude,
getting
I have that with Raj. Like, there are times where, like, Raj
instead
and I,
of
like,
running away from it, like no, I don't want to get
yes.
mad at you. No, because that would like
It
that would
might
mess
build
with
up.
you
It
even
might build
more.
up too. Like, it might, like,
Exactly. So
you gotta let
when
that
you
shit out.
exactly when you let it out, you snap at her like, "Hey, I told you," and like then it's out and like, "All right, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Like like so it's like, oh my
I throw a couple of jabs at Raj, but I never like hit him like full punch or whatever. Like, we always like because Raj is like,
yeah,
he's
so this
also
is what
mad.
I'm
Like,
saying.
Raj would also look at me like he wants to fight me. If he was only like as bigger than me or my size, I know we'd probably get it on. But I'd be like, like, yeah, but I know that I'm as long as because you don't have that capacity, dude. You've been through so many encounters in your life that I've witnessed or I've heard or that I know about that you never responded to with hostility. All right, verbally, yeah, you can do your talk, man, but like you're not really the type. I mean, you're not the
Yeah,
type.
I know, right? You know that, but that's the
Your
thing with
brother, yeah, maybe, but not you. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
it's true. But that's the thing with your head, because your head messes with you. Oh, you might do that, and you try to, and once you start arguing with it, it gets even deeper because like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like one
You
voice
just
says
have too
something.
much time, dude. You need like,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm
whack
thinking.
off.
That's what I. That helps. That helps. You know what? That helps.
It
That actually
helps.
helps.
Especially
It
for
helps.
my intrusive thoughts are sexual. That's the worst part. I mean, can you
It's
imagine?
mixed with me. It's mixed with
Dude,
me like sexual.
that's why we don't have a mate. That's why we don't have a helper.
It's
I'm
mixed with me too,
afraid.
but it's because yeah, I mean that's
Koya,
where it
koya.
stays, in your thoughts, right? So that's what the book says. It's just there. It's in your thoughts. It's
Yeah.
that's where
I
it
have
stays.
I have intrusive
And I
thoughts. They're just
know
not
that.
violent. They're
I know
sexual.
that. I know that part, but the thing is, it's more of like the response. You have like a chemical reaction in your body. That's like, oh my god, like you there's like that tingling feeling. And you're like, holy crap, I don't need this shit. Like I mean, it's like now I've come to deal with it. It's like it's just in your head, but sometimes maybe too much caffeine. I don't know. Maybe with the food that I eat, or
Yeah,
maybe
your
I need to
your
go out and
hormones
see.
or
Yeah, or
there's an
your
imbalance
body.
in your system. Yeah, there's like
So
an
your body
imbalance in your system.
reacts to it too. So
Yeah.
when that reaction is there, it's just like you don't like that feeling. It's like holy shit. It's like and then it's just so like so many things that's happening. And if you're alone in your living room, you're like start to think like, oh, I know that person like 2 years ago he killed himself and he was perfectly fine. He was he looked happy. He had friends and whatever, and he was even in the Philippines. And my God, he killed himself. What was he going through? And you're like, am I gonna do that as well? I mean, if I get tired of like, so it's because yeah, because you're bored, you have nothing to do. But if you have to worry about like the food that you have to eat tomorrow, or if you have somebody who's sick in the family or whatever, like you have real shit going on, dude, you wouldn't think about that
Or
because
or you hear about your neighbors or your friends' problems, and you like talk about it with your
exactly,
wife. So you're
yeah,
like, it becomes what am I even worried about? Yeah, it's
exactly, exactly.
but I can't blame you though.
Okay,
I
here's
mean,
the thing.
I can't blame you. I know your
Like
situation.
Saturday, you've heard of NHK, right? You've heard of
Yeah, the
this.
channel, NSK
Yeah.
Japan
So here's the
network.
thing. NHK is a government like it's national broadcasting whatever, right? Like so it's like a
Yeah.
government. So the thing is, it's like BBC in the UK. But
Yes.
unlike in the UK, it's not it's different. Like with BBC you have got to pay. Because if you don't
Yes.
pay you can get into legal trouble. Like,
Yes.
and they have all these scramblers or whatever, like locators. Like if they find out that you have, a television set or whatever, and you're not paying, you're gonna get into
Yeah.
trouble with the law.
Yeah.
In Japan, it's kind of like vague because it says that if you have a contract with NHK, you've got to pay, right? And
Yeah.
if you have a television set, you need to have a contract with NHK.
Okay.
But it doesn't say that you have to, right?
Okay.
So if you don't sign a contract with the NHK, you're fine. So there are a
Okay.
lot. So it's a problem here. There's even a political party that's like opposed to that, like about NHK and whatnot. So I've never signed up with NHK ever because I'm like I
Yeah.
don't even watch it. So we always say like we don't have television or whatever, and they constantly like like not really harass you, but they yeah, well, it's harassment. Like they ring your bell, whatever. Like from time to time, they would come back and they would like, oh, you need to sign this. You need to like, they're not even with the NHK. They're like from an outsourced company, and their
Yeah.
job is to like get you to sign it. So as long as you haven't signed it, like you don't have any obligation. You don't have
Yeah.
any legal obligation to give them money or anything.
Yeah.
So I think a few months ago they came here, and my wife talked to one of the guys from wherever, and she said, "Well, we don't have television. Can you see an antenna in my house? There's no antenna because we don't watch TV. I'm Japanese, so it's like we don't watch Japanese shows, whatever." So it was like,
Yeah.
"All right, fine." Then Saturday, I thought it was delivery for one
Yeah.
of the things that I ordered on Amazon. Then
Yeah.
I went out because usually I would have to look at my monitor and like, all right, if I don't know the person, if it's not the Takubing or the
Yeah.
delivery, like those Yamato or Sagawa, I wouldn't come out. I
Yeah.
thought because I ordered something and I thought, all right, that was it.
Yeah.
Dude, when I came out, fuck, that was the NHK. I'm like,
It's them.
"Holy
Yeah.
shit."
Yeah. So
So
they're,
like, it's kind of like, oh, somebody came here, whatever, and your wife talked. I think he assumed it was me. You talked to somebody like this, Mr. Takahashi, like that. We're from NC. I was like, I don't understand you. It's like,
Yeah.
come back later. Talk to my wife, and I just went in.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like around 8 o'clock when we came home. He came back. He
Oh,
rang,
shit.
He rang the bell. I was like,
Oh, crap.
asshole. And I was like, are you gonna talk to him? I was like, I'm not gonna talk to the guy.
Oh, did they take
So
much of your time? Did
no,
they
they don't.
really?
Well, they leave, and but that thing like I mean, I've been here for a long time. That I mean, in the Philippines, it'd be like you're so used to it that there's just so many nuisance in
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Those
You'll even talk to them.
networkings and-
They even become
yeah.
your friends or something. Yeah.
But here it's like you're kind of bothered. There's somebody ringing your bell. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, should I come out? Should I not? But then I was like, then I read like I tried to Google something, and it says there like, well, yeah, this is how you get rid of the NHK guy. Like, ignore them. Just ignore them. That's
So what?
the
They're
best
like
way.
Jehovah's Witnesses? They're like Mormons or something?
Like
Like, yeah. Okay.
Worse. They're worse, dude. They're worse. Worse than Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons. They're worse. So I mean, so he rang the bell twice. He disappeared though. But that's the thing. I mean, for the next few days, I'd be like, holy crap, are they gonna come back? But usually they don't. Like they would, come back in like months.
Yeah, so how do you get rid of them?
But sometimes a year. But you can't get rid of them because they're gonna continually come back until they get your signature. So if you sign with them, that's the time when you have to, like you'll start paying. Like we don't
Yeah.
pay because we don't watch it. But it's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, because you're the one financing NHK. There are no commercials in the NHK shows.
Oh,
and
okay,
shit.
got it, yeah.
So that's why they need money from the people. But then, so it's really kind of vague. Like they could have just like put it into law that everybody pays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
But
you
it's
know,
not. You have an option.
it's
Yeah.
not. So it's like, well, if you like, so it's like those loopholes that they have. Like,
Yeah.
if you have TV, then you have to have like you have to sign up with NHK. But if you haven't signed up, you can't really be forced to sign up. If you don't sign up, there's nothing they can really do. Like they can't, they can't sue you or anything. They can sue you if you already signed and didn't pay. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't sign up with them, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
So
because
one
there's
of
no
my
contract
Japanese-
binding you to them.
Yeah, so one of my Japanese coworkers or my colleague just told me like just ignore them, like or tell them to go away. I was like, really? I think, but she's that type. She lived in
Yeah.
America. She's a tough cookie, and she would just like,
Yeah,
"No,
yeah.
just tell me to go away. Like, don't bother me. I'm busy." Something like that. And
Yeah.
so, but then she's like, "Look, don't have to like, just don't mind them. Like they'll leave eventually."
Are these guys like outsourced? Like, are they directly with NHK, or are they like
I don't
sort of
think they
like
are. I think they are
these credit
outsourced.
card people? Or yeah, like they
They're-
just outsource them and they have a quota, like.
The vlogger said, or one of the one who wrote like that article was saying like, well, I don't like take it with a grain of salt, but they could be on commission basis, so that's why they're persistent. Because they would come back and ring your bell, and they were like, there were even like horror stories in Tokyo that they would like ring your bell like even at the latest at 10, and they'd be there like
What the heck, man?
yeah, they're crazy, but they leave eventually, right? But that's the thing. It's like you have that thing like that, it bothers you. It's like, why are you ringing my bell? Why are you outside my house? So I was there, and I was on my way to the basketball.
Get a dog.
And-
I have a bit.
Crap. Then, he disappeared. So, but then that's like holy shit. But then I was thinking, why would I be worried about this when I was a kid growing up? I had people looking for my mom because my mom kind of like owes them money or whatever. But it wasn't really like like she owed them directly, but it was more of
So they
like,
keep going to your house?
yeah, like like okay, my mom was into jewelries back then, right? They would like
Yeah.
they, I told you about
Buy
the
and
story. Like
sell.
he would be the middle person. Then if
Yeah.
somebody orders something from her, she would get from a supplier, and if that
Yeah.
person doesn't pay, then she can't pay.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah. I know what
supplier
you
would
mean.
go
I know.
after
Yeah,
her,
I know how that works.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they would be in my house knocking, like, "Oh, is your mom dead?" And I have to lie about it, like, "Oh, my mom's not here. She went to like, oh, really? Are you sure? I think I saw your mom somewhere." Like, I have to deal with that shit back then. I'm like, I manage. I'm like, this is not. I don't even owe them anything. Fuck. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, I can ignore you, but then I have to psych myself to do that.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
Japan has made me weak, man. It has made me weak.
Yeah, that's what happens, dude. That's what happens.
Convenience
Adversity.
and comfort made
Adversity
me
makes you
weak.
stronger. Adversity
I
makes you
know.
stronger.
I
It's just
agree.
like
I agree.
it. Yeah, that's what people say about like even fighters like Conor McGregor. Once he had that $100 million fight with Mayweather, he's been on a losing streak. He just has lost that hunger. They say because he's a freaking millionaire, even billionaire. We don't know, and like he doesn't have that thirst for because the best driving force in life is hunger, poverty. Like if you have nothing, dude, you got everything to work for, and everything is gonna go your way. But some people, once they get to that stage, the hunger. So I'm not saying that's your case. I'm just saying like, you obviously have a more like what we stated earlier, stable life. The things that were probably luxury here are just like necessities there. They're like basics. Like if you don't have that there, it's like you are a very small percentage of the population. You're like something's really up with you. Like unlike here in the Philippines where people on the outside could still be mauling and eating pizza and all that shit, and then you find out that they don't like you guys didn't have electricity at home, or you know what I'm saying? It's like that's a reality in the Philippines. Especially now with like the electricity bill, dude, it's like freaking 10,000, 11,000 pesos.
Dude,
I
don't forget
mean,
about the gas prices.
people don't even make that much money here a month. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna?
I know.
And you're depressed,
I know, right?
and you're having mental problems.
Like,
You live in a 3-story
what are you
house.
worried about?
You have an
I know.
extra shack outside.
I always try to think about what my dad would say. My dad would say the same thing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you have any idea how many people are hungry right now? Doesn't have a house, doesn't have a roof, like above their heads. I'm like,
Heck,
"You
their
have
nose
any
is
idea?"
upside down. Like you freaking watch all these documentaries on GMA or something. Like there's something's growing on their face. Like dude, it's a freaking tumor that they never got out because they're so poor.
I know.
Or some kid was like allergic to air. I don't know.
Like the saying that you need to get out more. That is that. I mean, that's so true. Like,
There's this guy outside JS Gaisano who's constantly like standing there like literally like he looks like that guy who melted in RoboCop. I mean, I'm not mocking him or anything, but he literally is like there. He has headphones on. And he's like there begging people. And there's one time I was with my wife and we were there and I gave the guy like $20 or $50 or something. And my wife's like, "Kung bigyan yan, babe, bugoy yan." Like the guy's apparently bugoy. Like, he hits on women. He has headphones on. He rides the jeep. He hits on women. He's a freaking jerk. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like only a Filipino can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's in the Philippines. He knows he can still get something
yeah,
here.
I love it. Then what I said. I mean, if you're in Japan and everything's just like, smooth sailing, and you're coming from the Philippines where you're always on guard, like you're always like, "What's up? I mean, what's up? I mean, what's next? Come on." Like, I mean, you're like in a riot scene. It's like, come on, keep it coming. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, right? That's how we live. That's how I
Yeah.
live. And now you're just like sitting down. I'm like, something's off. I think somebody's gonna stab me. in the back. Like
You hear a noise?
Yeah, I know.
Think about it. When do you hear the noise? When it's quiet.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
When it's noisy, you don't give a shit if there are gunshots ringing outside. They dare pa mahulog yung tabo sa banyo. You're like freaking out already. No. Ano patay June? Right? I mean, dude, that's how it.
It's okay.
You know what my wife told me when she came home from her vacation in the States? My wife's like, she goes, "Babe, weird sa States, no? Yung parang meron ka laging marinig na, ooh, know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, like there's always this sound. Like,
Yeah, if it's too quiet, like
it's like,
it's the pressure. It's the pressure of silence.
yeah, I know. And I'm like, maybe that's a freaking like heater or something, you know, like because they have that. I mean, and we don't have that here. You don't have a ventilation system. You don't have the heating, the furnace. You don't have that. The heating is not required in the Philippines. So that it's just like no. Like sometimes you would because she lived with my cousin. She lived with her aunt. But anywhere she goes like because it's so quiet. Like here, you'll hear the jeepney. You'll hear a tricycle. You'll hear like some people outside talking. Even the people passing by, you hear their conversations. You know what I'm saying? They're in the States. Literally, like you could look outside your window and there's nothing. So if there's a guy standing there, you'll freak out, right?
Just a few minutes ago, you had another incident in Davao where it rained so hard and it flooded.
Streets are flooded.
You know,
Streets are flooded. Yeah, streets are
flooded
flooded.
out. Davao City got flooded out. Mm-hmm. Dude, no matter how hard the rain in Japan, it comes from time to time. Dude, we don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's not like my sister is just like, oh, what's happening in whatever.
Praning, yeah.
Oh, So she's like she doesn't get bored because she's like, oh, kawawa yung ano. Yung
Yeah, I
car
know.
or whatever.
Exactly.
I have a friend who got stuck there. She knows somebody who got stuck there for 2 hours and shit like that. But here it's like there's nothing. I'm telling you, there's no drama here. There's no drama. The only dramas that you have are the dramas on TV and the dramas in your head. Because it's kind of
Yeah. It's gonna be in your head. You're gonna create your own. I think that's a natural human reaction, and that's why
know.
Filipinos are so. That's why Filipinos, the tendency for most Filipinos when they're abroad is to seek other Filipinos because they know
Exactly.
that it's gonna distract them.
yeah, that's true.
Right?
I can't do that though.
It's a
because I
distraction
can't
for
find
them.
The kind of Filipinos that but that's the thing. Like, I just even if I find I can't find them because the people that are here basically are not on my wavelength. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
Not the same
saying?
wavelength.
Most of the
crazy.
Filipinos in Japan, what are they there for? They're not necessarily there to teach. They're there to like work
At
it.
least
You
if I
know.
find somebody who's like like you or Yoda or Flip Mode, I'd be
Or
fine. But I haven't
Pacholo.
found that single person.
Pacholo, right?
No, Pacholo is the only person that I've met that I could probably hang out with, that I could talk to.
Dude,
like at
trust
parties,
me, he probably feels the same way. I'm sure if I ask him, he'd probably say, "Nagibay." I'm sure
It's so
he
true,
would
it's so
probably
true.
say the same thing.
So, but maybe that person exists, but maybe in a different prefecture, so it's kind of hard. So yeah, as of now, there's just nobody. It's just my wife, and like even some of her friends who are from Baguio City are also too busy, and I mean they're still in the manufacturing industry, so it's kind of hard to to set up a schedule because they're like it wouldn't meet, our schedules wouldn't match, so it's
I get what you mean, man. I
Kinda
mean,
hard.
I totally get what you. Well, at least you're aware. That's the main
Well,
thing. At
kids.
least you're aware. At least you're aware that it's the silence that's creating the noise.
It is.
It's the silence that's creating the noise. You start hearing noises that you didn't know were there before, or probably weren't even there. It just, manifested itself because you were,
It was
you
actually
just-
already there, but you don't pay attention to it because it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
so busy dealing with real things, and then
Yeah.
you're very comfy
like-
now.
it's like
Everything's
it's like
okay, and you're like,
it's like me. Let's say we hired like a sexy helper or something, and I'm starting having this like maniacis thoughts or whatnot. I mean, you start to live out the sexual
you
fantasies.
don't
in your
have
head.
that.
No. I don't know. Let's just say, like, I mean, I know we all have that. We talk about that at work. So let's just say, and it starts manifesting. But if there are other people in your house, or that the neighbors might hear you, you all of a sudden like ignore that shit. You're like, "Fuck, I gotta take this shit seriously." But dude, can you imagine if you're like in Japan, right? And it's just like you're like, you know what I'm saying, dude? It's gonna be different. You're gonna be like, oh, there's nothing there to stop you from pushing through with it. Not that you wouldn't stop yourself. You probably would, but you will be tested.
You probably won't. You probably won't. But it's just that you're thinking of like, oh, what are the possibilities? So you kind of ruminate in that sort of like that area of your thought, and that's what worries you. But in reality, you wouldn't. Like, no, I mean, when have you tried it? Have you ever tried it? Have you ever seeked it out? No, you did not. So you never.
Because he didn't have the opportunity to, because there's always somebody there. This is the Philippines,
That's
dude.
The thing. No, that's the thing. That's you talking inside your head. Like, no, even if you do have the opportunity, You wouldn't, because people who would be, if you're worried about like that, you'd be like, that means you're worried. Like that means you don't want.
That means you won't even do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause you're
The people,
anxious about
the
it.
people would do it, and the people who really will do it, even if there are people there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because they're like that's what it says. They're like because initially your thoughts would be like, am I a psycho? But then the fact that you're thinking that you're not, because the psychos would be like,
You won't,
kind
they
of
won't. They
be-
won't. They think it's normal. They think it's normal.
it's
They think it's
normal, and
normal.
they'd be happy. They'd be like, they find joy in it, and like, like that. It's that feeling. But if you're like anxious, like, oh my god, I'm so worried. Well, it goes without saying that you are not that person.
It's like
You're
being
not a
gay,
psycho.
probably,
Yeah.
right? Like being gay,
Like
like
that's even one of the intrusive thoughts. Like, am I gay? Like, no, you're not. Like, no,
'Cause you're
why
thinking
did I
about
have There's like just so many things. Oh my god, am I like just the book?
You
The
know-
book has that. Like,
you know,
like
you know.
those intrusive thoughts are there. Like, am I a
you know-
pedophile or whatever? Like, it's
You know
all
you're not.
there.
You know you're not
In the
gay when
book.
you start going. Am I gay? No, you're not. You know you're gay when you start going. Lalaki ba ako? That's when you know you're gay. Oh, lalaki ba ako? Lalaki ba ako?
And if you have friends like that, and if you have friends around and you start talking about that shit, you forget about it because they just tease you and you'd be like, all right, fine, it's not.
It doesn't even matter if you're gay or not, right?
Yeah, I know. They just like,
Or you tell, or like you're with Filipino friends, right? You go, "Bego ka ba yun?" It's not worrying if you're a pedophile or whatever. You know, and your kids will just say, "Ako mangganik." You know, like all of a sudden your friend will tell you, like, "Oh shit, okay, I'm normal." It's official. We're all insane. You know, that's basically
they're
it.
all insane, actually. Yeah.
It's official. We are all insane. I'm pretty sure even Mark Zuckerberg and wherever else you think, has
The reason
everything.
why you would get anxious is because you're thinking that it's just you who's going through that. But once you realize that, oh, all right, okay, now I understand. Like everybody goes through it, but it's just a matter of like,
Dude.
like filtering it. And if your filter works, you're fine. But for some reason, if you're really comfy and everything's smooth sailing, and you're coming from a lifestyle where you have to be constantly on guard and always 4 or 5 steps ahead, yeah, that would be a shock for like
That's
for
true.
example with like for a person like me. But all right, okay, 11:13.
Yeah, you gotta go, man. Yeah,
are we gonna, so like
Tomorrow.
like
Yeah.
9 p.m.
No. I mean, my bad. My bad. The other night and last night. So it's not like we made up.
that's
We made
fine.
up a little bit tonight.
I
It's
thought I
made
was
up
like,
a little.
I think he.
Dude, don't stop, man. I'm like,
So I was on for 30 minutes. I was like, all right, I think he's falling asleep. I'll just.
you should have just done the show. You can just,
No, I was just like, nah.
I'm sure Patrick will join you and you can put him on. What are you talking about, dude? Put that to good use. If I'm not around, if I'm around, we can still put people on. But it depends. Because I mean, if you have all that energy and you have all that, you might as well put it to good use. I mean,
No,
unless you're not
I was
up
coming
to
from
it.
basketball too. I was like, all right, fine. It's I could get some rest, and like Snow
it.
had to do some like stuff today, so it's fine.
Dude, you're wearing
All right, so
the
tomorrow.
Yo-Yong shirt. That shirt reminds me of Yo-Yong. The late Yo-Yong.
Right.
Yeah.
Autobots. All right, so
Yeah.
tomorrow 9 p.m. Philippine time.
Yep.
All right, so if nothing goes wrong, yeah, we'll be. I mean,
You'll
if
find out.
Rod's schedule is fine, like in my schedule is fine, then yeah, we'd be on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Philippine time. This has been the OK Show. Thanks for the 15 minutes hanging out with us, Patrick. You have a nice, you have a good night's sleep, and we are out. Thank you.